even lower, depending on, again, on the keywords. You're going to have to test that. But the goal isn't always to be in position 1. I just want to emphasize that. You may end up there once in a while, and that's fine. But for the sake of your budget and the amount that you're spending, and also based on your conversions, you might find that you like your sweet spot maybe more in the middle of the page. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Another great thing is your quality score is Google takes into account where your ad is showing on average. So if somebody's getting more clicks in position 1, you might think that their click-through rate would be better, which would make their quality score better. But Google will take into account that your average is down around 8, and they would base that, your position and your click-through rate, on, they would take that into account. So basically, if you're in position 8 and you have a click-through rate of maybe 1.5%, and up here this person's having a 2% click-through rate, they're going to take what your click-through rate is for position 8 and add that to the position 1, take that into account to see exactly how hypothetically your ad would be performing in that position, and they'll gauge your quality score on that. So you're guarded against, if you're not going to be in the top position and you're not getting as many clicks, that doesn't mean that because you're having a lower click-through rate, that your quality score will be lower. Google does take that into account. So for our default bid, we have all our approximate cost per click, and that's why we wanted to have this column. So this is helpful information. Now here's the thing: these could be way off. We might have to pay another 50 cents or more for these terms. They might be high. We might pay less because of our relevancy and having a good click-through rate and good quality score. So basically what this comes down to is we don't know exactly how each keyword phrase is going to perform. And Google is just giving us an estimate or an average cost per click for each keyword. And back here, as we're filling out our information, they're asking for the max. So the max we're willing to pay for that keyword group on the keywords that we have. So what I'm going to do, and there's no science to this, but you can see the highest bid amount is for this keyword at $2.52 for this ad group. So I'm going to tag on about 50 cents to $3 for my max CPC. And this is something I'm comfortable with to start. If that doesn't fit in your budget, then choose something lower or one of the lower amounts here. And you might want to adjust that price as you see how your ads are performing. If they're too low on the page, then you can increase that. But the beauty of this is Google will not charge you the max cost per click unless they have to. So in other words, if you're in a bid situation, let's say for the 3rd position, and your competition is paying $1.31, then Google is only going to charge you 1 cent above them or where you need to be in order to win that 2nd position. So instead of getting charged the $2.52 or the $3 max cost per click, you'll get a charge of $1.32. And that's just a rough example. It doesn't mean that's how the numbers are going to work out, but you get my idea. You're only going to be charged a max cost per click if you're in a situation where that person is paying like $2.99 and you need to pay the $3 in order to beat them to get that higher position. So something to keep in mind there. And again, these max cost per clicks can be adjusted as we're seeing how things are performing. Now, for the most part, I'm probably going to make things around $3, maybe $3.50, knowing that I'm not going to be charged that much for each keyword. And when I see something like $5.12, there's no way I'm going to pay that much. So I'm just going to ignore that as an outlier. And if I don't get that, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's only one keyword. So for this ad group, let's start with, we're looking at $2.52. So I'm going to go back to the max cost per click, and I'm going to make this $3. And we have our keywords. Everything's looking good. We're going to save this ad group. Next, I'm going to go back up here, click on the campaign. I'm going to pause this for now because we don't want things performing yet. So until we get everything in place, just keep that pause. This is where you would enable it once you're ready. And our next step, going back to the ad group here, is to create a second ad. So we click on the Ads tab, and we're going to click on New Text Ad, and basically just copy and paste the information from the WordPad here for our next one. Now, something I didn't mention before for your display, your destination URL, you might have a specific page you want them to go to. As you know, I'm sending them to the home page, but that has all the relevant information. You might have a / Hershey Homes or Carlisle Homes that are sub-cities, or a specific page is what I'm trying to say, other than the home page. You want to make sure you specify that destination URL here, so that if you have a specific landing page for the Harrisburg PA Townhomes ad group, you make sure they go to that page. You can still keep the display URL the same, but you want to make sure the destination URL is different if you have several pages that you're directing traffic to. Then on line 2 here, and then these are okay for me. I'm going to use the same destination URL for everything, since my keywords are so closely related. And if I find that certain ad groups aren't performing well with that page, then I'll make a change. Keywords are going to be the same because we already add that to the ad group. So there we go, 2 ads for this ad group. That's great. We already have our keywords. And then we can add the negative keywords. So I clicked on the keywords tab there. You see negative keywords at the bottom. Now remember, there's both the ad group level and the campaign level. For me, I just have campaign level negative keywords. I don't have anything specific for my ad groups. So I'm just going to copy this whole list, click add keywords, and pop them in there and save. And I'll add to this list as I go. But if you have any ad specific keywords for this ad group, be sure to add them in here so that you have both the campaign level and the ad group level negative keywords taken care of. And you'll have to do that for each specific ad group you create if you have the ad group level specific keywords, negative keywords. So I'm going to go through and make the other ads. Oh, before I go, just make sure you click on campaign up here and create a new ad group. You just click the ad group tab, then new ad group, and you'll go through the same process. And then once we're back, I'll pause this, come back, and just show you what I've done, and then we can launch our campaign and go from there. Okay, we're back. Got all my ads created, all the ad groups. Right now I'm in the campaign level under the ads tab. You can see I've created 2 ads for each ad group, and they have keywords in the title, keywords in the body specific to what I'm advertising. For example, for the townhouses, I have townhouses instead of townhomes, and vice versa. I also try some things with punctuation, like a few dots after free search, question mark in the title, some exclamation points, things that you want to test. You'd be surprised, the littlest thing can make an enormous difference in your click-through rate. So be sure to constantly split test these things. And this is a good way to review, make sure there's no typos or anything weird going on. We look good here. Also, you can check your keywords before you launch. Make sure there's no misspellings. Everything's input correctly. You can scroll to the bottom to research your negative as well. Here you can also check max CPC. Make sure there's no typos, like putting $30 instead of $3. Google will charge you that amount if you were to get into a bid situation, which is highly unlikely for a local area. But just as a safeguard, somebody is crazy enough to bid $30-some or whatever, and you get into some type of bidding war, that's the last thing you'd want to see on your bill. So make sure that you check those numbers. And everything looks good here. The only group I didn't include was the Sunpoint Townhomes, and the reason being, I don't know if our property search will actually bring up specific properties for Sunpoint, and I'll probably even create a separate page for that so that the search results bring up only Sunpoint Townhomes, and I just don't have the time to do that right now, but so I'm not going to actually add that to this campaign and direct them to the home page, because it's not, I think it would be more relevant having a specific page for Sunpoint. Finally, on the topic of bid amounts, just want to let you know, if you go under Reporting and Tools tab and click the Traffic Estimator, you can get a good average cost per click estimate from Google on some local keywords. It won't always show, but you can test for certain terms you want to know about. So I'm doing max CPC of $3, daily budget of $100, hit estimate. It tells me the average is about 160 with average ad position. I heard this is usually wrong, but the estimated average CPC is usually about right for most. So check it for your area and see if that will work for you and if that's helpful in determining your bid prices. And like I said, we'll monitor closely over the next few days to see what changes need to be made. So once you're happy and everything looks good to go, go ahead and Go up to make sure you're under the campaign level and enable. And you can also pause specific ad groups and keywords, just so you know. So we pause the campaign level, so that's now enabled. Things will start launching. It'll take maybe a few hours even for results to start showing. So Google does a quick review. It's usually an automatic review, but sometimes it'll say that it's up for review. These all say eligible, so we should be ready pretty soon. And make sure that this is showing today or something like the last 30 days or last 7 days, so that you're seeing today's results. If you accidentally click yesterday, you won't see anything if nothing's been running. And so be sure to also have that on the correct option. And good luck with your new launch. We'll be back here in a few days to check out some other things.